Good evening, race fans, and welcome aboard another live production of the Canadian eMotorsports Network, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. For more Season 5 action of the NASCAR Series on iRacing, we're heading into the double digits now of the calendar. We have reached round 10 of 22 on the 2024 NASCAR Series calendar. Going back to short track racing once again. This time around, we're in the state of Iowa in Newton for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 at Iowa Speedway. Or we should say the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 powered by chicken. There was a bit of joking around earlier saying that the drivers were given chicken instead of Sunoco fuel. So that makes complete and total sense. But on a more professional note, as a bit of a disclaimer, we are at the virtual Iowa Speedway in the virtual state of Iowa. But we would like to make a disclaimer that in real life, the state of Iowa is currently going through a very, very severe weather outbreak, a bunch of tornadoes that have spawned around and have caused unfortunate destruction in many areas. So on behalf of us here at the Canadian eMotorsports Network, to everybody in the real life state of Iowa, we'd like to send our thoughts and prayers to those that have been affected by the outbreak. And we hope that you all are able to recover fully from that as the future goes on. So yeah, just a bit of a disclaimer about the real life state of Iowa as we are here in the virtual state of Iowa. But as we move on here with tonight's live production here at the virtual Iowa Speedway, on the call, as per usual, we have on the voice you're hearing right now from Charlotte Prince, Edward Island, is Regan McCauley. On the other side, he's been here since the very beginning. It is Jordy Carraher, currently residing in on the other side of the country in Alberta, Canada. And now we'll go to the broadcast booth to our faces show us off. Here we are, Regan. That's Jordy over there with the wave. And now Jordy. Round 10 now here on the 2024 calendar here for Season 5 of the NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. 9 rounds in. We couldn't have asked for a more popular winner in last week's race than the Piping Kettle 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway, one of the most prestigious and it's the endurance race of every season here in the NASCAR Series. 300 miles, 200 laps, a half Coke 600, but no better driver to have won it all. Finally, in his 65th career start in the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, the number 7 519 eRacing Chevrolet of Andy Hertel from Daytona, Ohio, goes to victory lane with a perfect strategy call in the fourth and final stage, going 35 plus laps on fuel, was able to save it all the way until the end, and then ran out of fuel right after the checkered flag. And I mean, makes perfect sense right here with a bunch of drivers pushing him right back to the line, giving him a couple bumps here and there to help celebrate his victory, of course. But yes, indeed, Jordy, a very popular win for the veteran who's been here since Season 2 in 2021. And for someone like you, before my time, before I came and arrived here within the Canadian Motorsports Network, you were able to witness his journey along the way and get a bit of a better idea of it before I came along. So, like I said, long time coming for the veteran.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, here since Season 2, a guy that I mentioned it on last week's broadcast. You've seen the progression over the course of the seasons. I remember Season 2, he was the guy that, kind of squeaked into the round of 16, then was able to kind of miraculously find his way forward. I think he just missed the round of 8, if I recall. He made it close in the round of 12, but yeah, just ultimately, again, seeing where he was then to where he's gotten to now. Obviously, I think the shift in platform has probably helped a little bit in his case, but he's a guy that's always been dedicated, always been committed to learning the craft. And ultimately you saw it work out last week. And, he was securely having his best regular season anyway, but to have the win on top of that, that's just kind of icing on the cake for him. And the next month and a half, it's just, him trying to improve his position now. So it's a much different feeling for the 7, but I don't think it's going to change his approach all that much.
Indeed so, and moving on to the next month or so here before we get to the 5th annual Ross Cup playoffs, Andy Hertel becoming the 6th different winner through 9 races. Yeah, if you combine those two numbers, nice. I had to put that in there. I had to. I'm starting to learn from you, Jordy. But yeah, I mean, going back to last week's results in the Piping Kettle 300 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. As a matter of fact, Andy Hertel didn't even score a single stage point the whole race. Through the first 3 stages, nothing. He never finished inside the top 10. And what do you know? He saves the best for last. I mean, he could make the argument that a couple extra points were lost in his case, but what does matter is that because of the win, he's locked into the playoffs. That's all that matters. Moving forward, he even, we were talking with him behind the scenes, he wants to start building up some more consistency with some of those extra stage points so he has some good momentum and good advantage heading into the playoffs with a couple of playoff points going in, because there's plenty of other drivers that have plenty of them, as we know. But going into the results here of the 5th annual Piping Kettle 300, Andy Hertel qualified 6th, got the win. Adam Wilson, CD Magram, a pair of Tornado Alley E-Racing drivers finishing on the podium. And he has a... So yeah, would that be... unless I missed something in round 8, is that 9 races in a row for all 3 Tornado Alley drivers inside the top 10?
Unless you missed something, I think you're on the ball there.
Yeah, I'm trying to look back and see here. Yeah, I think the streak ended up, it just kept going to Sonoma and North Wilkesboro. I don't see any of them below the top 10. I mean, North Wilkesboro, they barely squeaked into the top 10. They almost lost that streak with how chaotic that race was. But yeah, it does look like as though through 9 rounds, still that streak somehow continues. Absolutely unbelievable on that end. Correct us if we are wrong. Of course, some things can definitely be overlooked, but Micah Marini and Jason Heaney, a couple drivers there that qualified outside the top 10 and 19th and 15th respectively. What do you know? They get top 5 finishes, so saving the best for last. Jason Heaney, the rookie, comes in, scores a stage win. Jordy, I know you said after he got that stage win there after stage 3, you quoted as in you were absolutely loving what you were seeing.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it last week, just the fact that Charlotte was going to be a turning point for some of these guys who were outside the playoff picture, and Jason Heaney's a perfect example of, just what you can be capable of if you turn in a solid run start to finish. And ultimately, I believe he was the 4th most points overall in last week's race with that additional stage, mind you. So again, that's made a huge difference, and it's kind of reinvigorated his playoff chase here in a sense, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Indeed. So Heaney recorded a total of 17 bonus points out of last week's race, and he also scored the fastest lap with a 29.484 on lap 127. So again, a hell of a run for the newcomer to the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Pole sitter Jordan Kalinian, again, qualified first, won a stage, wound up in 6th. Ty Higginbotham 7th after qualifying 14th. Bryce Fontaine scoring a top 10, a very solid run for him. He made his way up patiently as the race went on. Corbin McCauley qualified 2nd. We saw him battle up front a couple times. Started to fall back towards the end. Wound up in 9th. Mason Tomlinson scores his first top 10 finish of the season. Tom Janikowski, I guess I overlooked the fact that it says he's minus 200 laps, even though he finished 11th on the lead lap, but we'll skip that. Charlie Sears 12th after qualifying 8th. Darcy Ford, a former winner of the race, qualifies 4th, finishes 13th, and then the rest of the way, a bunch of cars one or multiple laps down. Ryan O'Toole, the only driver with a DNF. Drivers such as Jared Ireland, Chase Beatty, and Mark Roulette did not show up. Ireland may not, it sounds like Ireland might be back maybe for next week's race. He did mention he's going to be on break until the end of the month, so hopefully we'll be able to see him back for next week's action. But moving on from there to the driver's standings, where again, the graphic that we release every single week goes off of, in order, drivers that are already locked into the playoffs and drivers that have wins. So of course you see half the playoff grid filled up through 9 rounds. Corbin McCauley still leading the way in the regular season standings with 35 points over CD Mangrum, who still has yet to win a race, 168 points above the cut line. He is well on his way to claiming a playoff spot if he is not able to win a race anytime within the next couple of weeks, which it would be an absolute shocker if he doesn't. There's Darcy Ford in 8th, 56 above the cut line. He's well on his way as well, and this complete catastrophe takes over for him. But Darcy Ford is a past winner. He was the inaugural winner of the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 at Iowa back in 2021. Justin Belmonte's 9th, Jose Mercado and Mike Marini hold 10th through 11th. Charlie Sears holding the 12th and final playoff spot by 5 points over Kyle Nolan. As we were talking about earlier, too, we were going to, as you said, Jory, we were going to get into it eventually. Jason Heaney, that performance he had at Charlotte last week, it propelled him from, I believe it was minus 39 to minus 15.
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at the consistency that he had from start to finish last week, and, you know, at the end of stage 3, he'd really established himself as a potential winner last week until an early stage 4 accident kind of kiboshed some of that. But again, played the long game on the fuel strategy to recover that finish. And yeah, you see what that's done for him. It's helped him leapfrog a few guys. And yeah, if he's able to keep up the form, don't be surprised if you see a late charge out of the 9.
Indeed. So now we move on to the quote-unquote rookie points standings. Again, rookie is not the best term to use, but we're still staying consistent based on past years within the Canadian E-Motorsports network. But Jordan Kalinian, continuing to lead the way. He extended his lead to 26 points ahead of Adam Wilson, even though Wilson still claimed the best finish out of all the newcomers in second. Charlie Sears still holding on to that third and final podium position. Jason Heaney jumps Trevor Binns for 4th. And one driver in particular that we must talk about, William Kernan, the number 31, enters the series. He entered the series for the first time in last week's Piping Kettle 300. And what do you know, a hell of a immediate impact that he made, leading 7 laps, recorded 10 stage points. Man, oh man, Jordy, we saw how fast he was, and I'll even say a spoiler right now in the current practice session that these drivers are going through, which is about to end literally right now. Kern's up there inside the top 10, so we'll have to see here if he's able to continue on his momentum. And yeah.
I was going to say, I thought you might have cut out for a second, but yes, that was definitely the talk of some of last night's practice as well, between I believe Will and perhaps a certain number 0 as well, having significant pace last night. But I mean, Iowa's got its own set of challenges, so it'll be, again, curious to see how the field's able to navigate that here tonight. Again, a little bit shorter. And I mean, we thought maybe some demons were going to come out in Dover. And I mean, we saw that turn out pretty good for the most parts. And, you know, I think there's maybe some similar trepidation within the Iowa fields here tonight. But yeah, don't be surprised if we see a good one here regardless.
Indeed so, and now moving on officially from last week's action now into what we have here tonight at the virtual Iowa Speedway. We have 2 more races left here in the month of May, including tonight. We also got Nashville Super Speedway next week, and then it's on to the month of June for 4 more races to decide the rest of the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoff field. And man, oh man, Jordy, after the first half of the regular season, we saw how chaotic those races were, and we had that driver parity really building up every single week. But then again, we got Iowa tonight, where we have heard behind the scenes what drivers are anticipating tonight's race to really be like. And then again, we got Nashville Super Speedway. We got Monza coming up on June 4th, Pocono, Indianapolis, Rockingham to wrap it all up.
Yeah, it's, there's a lot of unpredictability in these next 6 weeks here. Again, Iowa, relatively new. Nashville, we've never gone to. Monza, never in the NASCAR side of things. Pocono, it's been a minute since we've been there. And also, again, for those at home, that is race number 100 overall in the NASCAR Series over 5 seasons. So be sure to look out for some special content around that before we go back to the Brickyard the following week, and then another new track in Rockingham, like you say. So there isn't really a whole lot of precedent to draw from in the next 6 weeks. So now the drivers are more comfortable with each other. Bring it.
Yes, sir. Bring it on. Absolutely. Here, as everybody's currently going through the 2-lap qualifying session, 2 laps per driver. Of course, another 2 minutes remaining in there for that, obviously. But now here at the Iowa Speedway is where we are for round 10 of 22 on the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue Season 5 schedule. Iowa entering its 3rd year of operation within the series. 7/8 of a mile oval, 1.4 kilometers roughly in Newton, Iowa, 10 degrees of front stretch banking, 4 degrees of backstretch banking, and then there's progressive banking in the corners at about 12 to 14 degrees. Opened in 2006, it was designed and built by NASCAR champion Rusty Wallace. It's patterned after Richmond Raceway, which was one of Wallace's most successful tracks during his NASCAR career. Seats about 30,000 plus people, and this track, even though it is a short track, it's known for being pretty fast. It's got an interesting surface, and man, oh man, drivers have been really talking behind the scenes about how much of a loose setup that we should be expecting to win this and for them to be challenged by here tonight, especially on the fresher tires as well, which is why the start of this race restarts, especially too, like after each stage when drivers had to figure out pit strategies and such. We'll have to see who goes for fresh tires, and we really got to anticipate a lot here tonight, Iowa Speedway. It sounds like, especially after the expectations we had last week at Charlotte for such an endurance race, because we had the flashbacks to the World 300 back in Season 4, and again, 15 cautions, well over 2.5 hours of a race there. But of course, last week we were able to have a different story than what we saw the previous year. Drivers are saying this might be the toughest race of the season.
And I mean, we've had some tough ones so far, to say the very least. And I think there will be some adjustments that have to be made within the field, obviously. And I think, the variety in tracks that we've had over the last little bit, that sort of eliminates any form of predictability we're going to see tonight. So ultimately, it's the guys who are able to get the best handle on it quicker. You say that most nights, but I think it's especially true here at Iowa tonight. Like, it's going to be the kind of night where, you just need to feel as comfortable as possible with the car underneath you. And that could take you a long way here. And again, could yield a little bit of a shakeup, but we'll have to see about that, because that's not 100% in the bag by any means.
No, it is absolutely not, and what we should expect here tonight. We'll eventually get into the laps and stage lengths and all that, and blah blah blah. But again, this is the first race here at the virtual Iowa Speedway within the iRacing era. We last hosted races back in 2021 and 2022 on NASCAR Heat 5. There's PTSD written all over that. Darcy Ford won in 2021. Ty Higginbotham won in 2022. The biggest storyline going into this race, in my personal opinion, is Darcy Ford won the race at Iowa and then went on to win the championship in 2021. Ty Higginbotham won the race in 2022, then went on to win the championship that year as well. For our 3rd time here at Iowa Speedway, are we going to see a winner tonight, then come out on top on August 20th of this year at Homestead Miami Speedway? Do we go 3 in a row?
Well, I mean, they say third time's the charm, right? And to win at Iowa, I would suggest, based on the feedback that we've gotten from the drivers, it's going to take somebody with a really complete skill set to be able to get the job done tonight. So I absolutely wouldn't discount that possibility.
Indeed. So we're going to find that out here tonight very shortly. We got 21 drivers out here ready to compete for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 crown here at Iowa Speedway in Newton, Iowa. So I'm going to go into race control here, give these guys a quick message, get the engines fired up and ready to go for some good old short track racing here at Iowa Speedway. Round 10 of 22 is about to get underway very soon. Stay tuned.
The driver of the 10 is powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken today. It was delicious.
Apologies for having to go into the loop there. There's a bit of a technical malfunction for a second. But anyways, it's time. The engines have been fired up. It's time to reveal the starting lineup here for tonight's event at Iowa Speedway. Starting up front on the front row, we have the reigning IndyCar Series champion, the number 32 of Charlie Sears for 419 eRacing. He will start in the first position. Alongside him, it's the number 21 Tornado Alley eRacing Toyota of Adam Wilson from Laurel, Delaware, looking for his second win of the season. Moving on now to row number 2, where we have the defending winner of this race, the number 97 Tornado Alley eRacing Toyota of Ty Higginbotham, looking for his third win of the season. He won just at North Wilkesboro Speedway just a couple weeks back. Alongside him, he won the pole last week, starts fourth this time around. It's another rookie there, the number 0 Toyota of Jordan Kalinian from Salisbury, North Carolina.
All right, on to row 3, and rounding out the top 5 is the proverbial best of the rest so far, the best without a win to this point, the number 1 Tornado Alley Racing Toyota of C.D. Mangrum in the top 5 out of Atlanta, Georgia. That's all 3 Tornado Alley guys in the top 5. And he'll have Trevor Binns on his outside, the number 33 Toyota out of Winter Haven, Florida. He'll start in 6th in this one. Moving on to row 4, we stay in Florida, where we find the Kissimmee native Jose Mercado driving for GTR Motorsports, another OG day 1, starting in 7th. And he's got a relative newcomer on his outside in the form of the number 22 Chevy of Bryce Fontaine out of Laverne, Tennessee. He starts 8th.
Indeed he does. Now to the bottom of the top 10, where we have last week's winner looking to make it potentially 2 in a row here. The number 7 Chevrolet for 519 eRacing from Dayton, Ohio. It is Andy Hertel. Alongside him, we have the number 31 for 585 eSports, or 585, either one. From Dansville, New York, William Kern. Unfortunate result last week after leading 7 laps and collecting 10 stage points. He looks to rebound here. Qualifies inside the top 10, so he'll look to make his way up. And then just outside the top 10, we have the number 6 Ford for GTR. It's Justin Belmonte from Pachico, New York. Alongside him, we have the number 77 Ford for GTR from St. Catharines, Ontario. It is Hunter Young.
All right, we move on to row 7 now. We head to Wisconsin, here, Appleton specifically, where we'll find the number 93 Chevy of Tom Janikowski starting in 13th. Another guy who's looking to make a bit of a playoff move here soon. A guy very much inside the cut line right now is the number 12 Toyota of Mike Marini. The Thunder Bay, Ontario native will start 14th in this one. Moving on to row 8 now, and whoa, boy, I did not see that one coming. Corbin McCauley in the number 17 Chevy out of Charlottetown, PEI, Bolger Motorsports, Kawasaki, and you can insert the rest of the sponsors here, Reegs. He'll start 15th, and he'll have car 15 on his outside. Kyle Knoll in the Storm Surge eSports Toyota out of Wendell, North Carolina, will start 16th.
And then to round out the rest of the field, we have the number 16 Chevrolet out of Portland, Oregon. It is Ryan O'Toole. He did not finish last week's Piping Kettle 300. He'll look to finish this time around, get the car home in one clean piece. Alongside him is the number 80 Koopa's Racing Chevrolet Toyota, from Georgina, Ontario. It is Mark Ouellette. And then we have here on row 10, where we have the number 9 Toyota of Jason Heaney. First career top 5 last week, looks to continue that momentum here tonight. And alongside him, the inaugural winner of the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 Power by Chicken. It's number 64 Chevrolet for 519 Racing from Harrington, Prince Edward Island. It is Darcy Ford. And to round it all out, we have the number 10 Chevrolet 519 Racing Chevrolet from London, Ontario. Jason Butler rounds out the field. And so for our race analysis, 175 laps. Stage 1 will be 35. Stages 2 and 3 will be 70 laps each. Pit road speed is 40 miles per hour. Fuel window is about 45 to 55 laps. And then for some quick track info, track length about 0.9 miles or so. 4 turns, of course, 175 race laps. Race length actually is 155 miles, apparently. But with all that being said, the pace car is going to roll off, and 21 of the cars and stars of the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series will head to the green flag to begin round 10 of 22 at Iowa Speedway. The Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 Powered by Chicken is underway.
All right, boys, let's go. Let's just see how this gets going. Let's just get everyone through the first couple corners as we wait for the leaderboard to come up. There it is. And Yeah, it seems like we're off and running here, Reeks.
And there's Adam Wilson jumping right up to the lead. He'll lead the first lap of 175. Jordan Kalinian's going to now jump Charlie Sears, who drops back to third. Lots of maneuvering back and forth as Jose Mercado's loose on the inside. He's going to go around up that track. No, he saves the car. Kyle Knoll gets into the wall. We stay green.
Well, we were talking about loose setups earlier, Reeks,
yes.
And we know Jose Mercado is the guy who tends to like to drive a little bit of a looser operation there as well.
Hertel now spins.
All right.
And William Kern is around too.
Yeah,
he's still going,
Go ahead.
I digressed.
Well, I was going to say, Hertel kind of handicapped that one for himself in the lead-up. I know it wasn't the most optimistic, shall we say, in terms of his outlook for tonight. But, yeah, maybe it's just a case of getting it out of the way early and just getting comfortable with the car underneath you, like I said in the pre-race.
And while all of that was happening, we're continuing to have a battle for the race lead. Adam Wilson on the high side, Jordan Kalinian on the inside. A pair of newcomers to the series battling it here. Now on lap 5 of 175, Charlie Sears still holding on to third. Trevor Binns and Ty Higginbotham holding 4th and 5th. C.D. Magrum back in 6th. Bryce Fountain 7th. Corbin McCauley, Hunter Young, and Justin Belmonte currently rounding out the top 10. Kalinian still holding on to that inside line. Wilson with the opposite on the high side. But the zero has cleared the way by about 2/10 or so right there. Now on lap 6.
Yeah, and I've seen Sears as he was coming through. He's tapped that wall a couple of times, making his way up as well, but still able to keep it going in the right direction. And you know what? Maybe Sears starting on pole wasn't the most surprising thing. Of course, NASCAR is a different beast. But we did see him win one of the Iowa dual races in what was known at the time as the Dart Series. And, of course, it was Corbin McCauley winning the other one. Not a surprise to see him slicing his way through the field. Started 15th, up to 7th.
Now, as I was saying there, Kalinian was really holding the inside. And then Wilson on the outside. Now it's completely swapped here. Now at lap 8, Jordan Kalinian still going to lead the way as Sears jumps ahead of Wilson on the high side. Ty Higginbotham looking to make a move here under Trevor Binns for the 4th spot. But we're all single file throughout most of the field here as Jason Heaney has trouble on the front stretch. He keeps his car going but is back in 20th. Corbin McCauley making some jumps here, almost 3 wide. 17 with a bit of a loose moment, but he keeps his car straight and going. Ty Higginbotham jumps Adam Wilson.
Or two out of it.
Yeah, Wilson's dropping back a couple spots now. 17 still looking to make his way up. Oh, there's contact with Magrum. They're still going.
Yeah, everybody holding it together so far. Maybe a little more chicken grease on those lower lines. It's starting to look a little bit like a banana peel almost. Guys just sliding all over the place. Mario Kart driver's dream.
17 clears the 1 for 6th, so he'll charge his way towards the 21 now. But drivers trying to warm up their tires as much as possible here. Again, you know, on the fresher tires, loosey-goosey. It's pretty much the motto we can use here at the virtual Iowa Speedway. Like, if we're even seeing a guy like the number 17 having some moments there, no one's safe.
No, and I mean, I think you've seen
Wilson.
That yeah, and I mean, that might just be another example of it, right? Just guys having a lot of trouble holding the line so far, and they may be thankful this is the shorter stage of the evening. As oh boy, yeah, nobody's safe here at any point, I don't think. And I mean, I know the movie was set in Nebraska, but I wouldn't be surprised if the children of the corn decide to come out here in Iowa and maybe snatch one of these cars and send them into the wall.
So Nolan Wilson going at it for 9th. Jordan Kalinian has opened up about a half a second or so lead over Charlie Sears and Trevor Binns. We got the top 3 filled with new drivers to the series, and then you got a pair of veterans here in Higginbotham McCauley going at it for 4th. Magram just falling in behind, so it was a good start for Tornado Alley until Adam Wilson started to fall back as William Kern is in his pit box.
Gonna say, I wonder if that's related to him going through the infield a little bit earlier, or if it was even meant to happen.
Went for a drift. Car still gets loose on him. Oh, he does save it, but he heads right to his box.
Yeah,
and disappears for now.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on that situation, especially. See how that one kind of works itself out over the course of the evening.
17 and 97 going at it for fourth. McCauley's still making his way up from the 15th position. So make that 11 spots now. 11 plus up for the number 17 Boulder Motorsports and Kawasaki Chevrolet.
I did get all the sponsors. Nice. Well, all the ones we were mentioning on the broadcast for this morning.
Come on, where am I? Yeah, there we go. He's got one on the front as well. AC Carpentry and Flooring, I believe, is what it is.
Well, you'll be able to see it a lot better than me because, I mean, I know it. Iowa's close enough to Idaho, but yeah, it's just enough to kind of make out the cars. But yes, potato vision strikes again.
Yeah, indeed. So, the lap 18 now of 175. Jordan Kalinian still leading the way. He's now led 14 laps, about to approach 15 laps led. Charlie Sears still not too far behind. I think Trevor Binns might have had a bit of a wobble there coming off of 4. And it looks as though William Kern is possibly out of this race.
Yeah, that's a bit of an unfortunate set of circumstances there. Hopefully everything's all right on Will's side. Obviously made a great first impression last week. And yeah, hopefully everything's all good in the land of the 31.
Oh, whoa, someone's in the grass on the front stretch. That was, I think,
Appears to be O'Toole.
And as we're saying that, Bryce Fontaine has a moment coming off of 4. But
Man, oh man.
what I was going to say was, like, we got 2 drivers who did really well at Charlotte last week, now struggling here at Iowa. Jason Heaney all the way back in 18th. Andy Hertel 16th. Jose Mercado's just ahead there in 15th by about a second or so.
Yeah, it's a very different version of a chaotic start. Maybe not how we initially envisioned it, but yeah, everything that the drivers seem to have feared seems to be coming to fruition so far.
I think the 97 might have had a moment there off of 4, which is why the 17 might have backed off there a little to avoid getting to the back of him. That's at least what it looked like. CD Magram got a lot of momentum there on the inside. He still continues to through 3 and 4. Tornado Alley E-Racing drivers battling side by side for 4th. Now the 97 clears the way as they quickly approach the 33 Mobile One Toyota of Trevor Binns. As Kyle Knoll with an issue off of 4. He still keeps it going in 12th.
Yeah, and just the lack of pace when there is an issue, it just seems to be magnified at a track like this one. Not sure what the specific characteristics are that's making it go like
Caution.
that. But okay.
Justin Belmonte's
like
around.
Almost a matter of time before something happened, wasn't it?
Oh, and there's potentially some front-end damage on the number 6 car off of 4. Again, it's the exits off of 4 that have been really killing a lot of these guys. But the caution's out on lap 25 of 175, so with 11 laps to go in stage 1. This could get interesting for the first stage finish.
It could, and yeah, it'll be curious to see if anyone actually does come in. Like, if they did, it would only be because the tires are absolutely dead. Oh, man, oh, man.
Complete wheel lock right there from the number 6 GTR Ford of Justin Belmonte. Yikes.
Yeah, that one hurt. Yeah, he was just running middle of the track, no one around him. Maybe a little tap there first. And yeah, just kind of getting under control, and yeah, there it goes. But yeah, as I say, if anyone does happen to come in, it's only for tires, because fuel, absolutely not a consideration in this stage. You're looking at 2 green flag stops in, stops in stages 2 and 3. But yeah, right now, if you need some grip in the last few laps, maybe, but it might hurt in the long run.
If you can handle it in the short term.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was the first example of the Children of the Corn scenario I was pitching a little bit earlier. Just kind of snatched Belmonte up out of nowhere. And the damage is done.
Indeed so. So 23 of 20, or 24, 27 laps now have been led by the number 0 of Jordan Kalinian. And then it was Adam Wilson that led 3.
Yeah, and then he just kind of fell down the field, to put it mildly.
But just judging by the qualifying order and where everybody is now, Kalinian went from 4th to 1st, Sears 1st to 2nd. Adam Wilson dropped all the way back from the 2nd to 18th, last car on the lead lap. Ty Higginbotham still remaining up inside the top 5. C.D. Magrum 5th to 5th. He's been stuck in that position this whole time. McCauley from 15th to 6th, so we've certainly seen him make his way up.
Well, you talk about him. How about Darcy Ford starting 20th and moving up?
Indeed so, up to the 7th position. So a pair of veterans right there who have been here since the very beginning. Again, they have that expertise and that experience, especially from the Heat 5 days, but then it's kind of hard to really... It's kind of hard to make that point when we're on iRacing now.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the characteristics are totally different. We've seen it at a couple of different tracks at this point, honestly, and yeah, I think there's just no question that, you know, a lot of the knowledge that would have been taken from the Heat 5 side of things, if not all of it, you just throw out the window.
So I can only imagine the pace car lights will likely come off here as the cars approach the line for lap 30. So we'll see about that. Yes, indeed. So it's going to be, for stage 1, a 5-lap shootout to decide.
Man, that seemed like a long caution, though, didn't it? I think we were looking at, what, 5-6 laps on the short track? We're accustomed to 4 at your intermediates and super speedways. But, yeah, obviously, you know, a shorter track, you're going to have more laps, but it still seems a little bit long.
And besides Jason Heaney, Jose Mercado, and Adam Wilson, and only a couple cars have pitted. From what I can tell, I think Heaney and Mercado went for just fuel, and then Adam Wilson looks like he actually may have gone for 4 tires, just based on their pit stop times. 7 seconds for the first 2, and then 16 for Wilson. Meanwhile, everybody else, Not even close to fresh tires as the green flag waves. 5-lap shootout to decide the first stage.
I was going to say, that'd be a bit of a surprising thought if those guys did opt for fuel. Again, we were looking at 45 to 55, and you would save more under caution. So if they did add fuel, I don't know. That's a weird choice.
Or maybe damage fixing. I don't know. It could have been just fixing the damage from maybe earlier moments, but again,
fair play. They all went through the
Sears
grass.
with the dive bids. Oh, there's chaos all over the place through 1 and 2. Sears in the outside wall. Magrum's still going. Everybody scrambles on the backstretch. The 32 really falling back 3 wide in a lot of places here.
Yeah, Sears might have just cost himself an amazing point haul there by having that happen. He was on the books for 9, potentially. We'll see how he can recover, if at all.
He's still up there, though, with now 3 laps to go here in the stage. Cars all over the place. A battle brewing here for the 3rd spot. Through about 5th or 6th or so. Number 17 is pulled away. Kalinian has certainly pulled away about 1.5 seconds ahead of the 17. Charlie Sears, he still could have a shot at 1 or 2 stage points here, battling Mike Marini or Hunter Young.
Yeah, he doesn't have much time to make the move, though, if he's going to. I mean, it's not the guy alongside he's trying to get. It's the guy up ahead. It's the 12. It's not like he can just take a better line. He's got to jump somebody.
So, stage 1 white flag out for the number 0 of Jordan Kalinian. And then the next 2 stages, 70 laps each. So there is the stage checkered flag for Jordan Kalinian. He gets it done. Corbin McCauley 2nd. Ty Higginbotham is barely going to take 3rd. I think Wilson beat Magrum for 4th. And
see
then
what those fresh tires did?
Indeed. Well, yeah, for Wilson especially, yes. I mean, the 16-second pit stop, that certainly benefited him right there. And I believe that it was a little bit of a chaotic finish for a couple positions towards the bottom of the top 10.
As the caution comes out.
So make that 7 stage wins on the season for Jordan Kalinian. That leads everybody.
Now, I'm trying to see. We've got Marini 6th on the board as everyone's going to come into pit lane, or a lot of guys are. Yeah, where was I going with this? Oh, he was 10th with like a lap or 2 left in the stage. Did he actually move up? Did we miss something there, or?
Well, I didn't have enough time to get the rest of the...
Tumbled.
I didn't have time to check back on the rest of the results there. We're just going to quickly get through this pit cycle here and see what everybody does before we then check a quick replay there. As, yeah, no surprise, Adam Wilson getting, I imagine, again, the 4 tires and fuel on that stop, which propels him right back to the race lead. But the thing is, though, he's going to have a couple laps slightly less fresher compared to everybody else.
Yeah, I think it's worth it for the, stage points right now. Yes, he's got his win, but at the same time, if you want to be competitive, you got to do stuff that's other guys aren't. Like, you got to kind of change it up a little bit.
So it looks like Hertel went for just fuel, everybody else taking tires. But are the pace car lights going to stay on or go? Okay, they will stay on. So as the pace laps continue onward, we're going to go back and check out this stage 1 finish. So it was right here. So Kalinian getting first, of course. And then there's Corbin McCauley 2nd. Or, sorry, no, actually, I think it's the previous lap. Give me a second here. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, Kalini and McCauley, Higginbotham just barely. Oh, they wrecked behind them. Almost did.
Okay, so that explains how some of those guys jumped up.
Okay, let's see what happened here. Okay, it was Trevor Binns and Kyle Knoll. I was trying to pinpoint where that happened. So Knoll, oh yeah, slides up the track very clearly there, gets into Binns, and then they all scramble for stage points. So at the line, it looks like Higginbotham got 3rd, Wilson 4th, Magrum got 5th.
That's and just Tornado Alley posing for team photos.
Yeah, Marini 6th, Hertel got 7th. And then in behind them, it looks like Ford... I said 7th on the last position, or I believe, did I?
You did. Yep.
Yeah, so Ford 8th, and I think Binns got 9th, and then I think barely Hunter Young got the final spot.
Yeah, that's what my pause point on the YouTube stream says. And, well, speaking of the YouTube stream, I think we have a bit of an explanation from Will Kern here as well. The Pride and Trust painting comment, first time at Iowa track, just basically attributed it to needing a little more practice with it. So essentially decided that was going to be the end of the night and on to next week.
Yeah, very unfortunate circumstances right there for William Kern, who, if he does want any shot at contending for the All Ross Cup, he's definitely going to need to win a race before we get there in July. Although, what's the rule in the rule book? Like, you have to attend how many races if you're eligible for a spot? Like, how's that work?
So, I remember back in the day, it used to be, I want to say, like 75 or 80%. I'd have to look into it more.
Okay. Because, yeah, like someone like Jared Ireland, some people could argue that since he's missed a couple weeks and he has a win, then maybe there might be some controversial circumstances there. But no, he's made most races. He'll certainly be back here very soon. And what these guys are certainly back to is green flag racing here for Stage 2 at Iowa Speedway. Lap 42, Adam Wilson leading the charge. Corbin McCauley in behind him, looking to battle for the lead. We'll see how everybody cycles out here at the beginning of the second stage. Ooh, Kyle Knoll and Hunter Young getting very close there off of 4. Looks like everybody's been able to make it through, at least so far so good.
Yep, just trying to keep it going in the right direction as much as anything else.
Ooh.
As yeah, there's a bit of a dive from the 17. Is that inside line going to work?
Oh, man. Oh, Trevor Binns. Oh, contact with Mercado.
Yeah.
Mercado's going around. Bryce Fountaine misses the wall up the track.
Wow. How did he miss everything?
Total chaos on the front stretch. We stay green. And during all that, Corbin McCauley took the lead.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what we saw was going to happen. It looked like he certainly had the better run on Kalinian, and then, again, all the calamity happened.
I would really love to go back and check out the replay, but I just feel like because how this race has gone, I don't want to go back to anything.
Yeah, no, that is totally fair.
But again, we pretty much have to, so let's go back and check out what happened there with Jose Mercado and a couple other guys there. So yeah, Binns gets loose, slows down. Mercado couldn't really react quickly in time. He goes, well, almost around, but he's able to keep his car going there. And then Bryce Fountaine, how on earth did he not hit anything?
Yeah,
and good save by Binns too.
Oh, I mean, 3 crazy saves all the way around. Like, it's funny, all the hype or the concern about the loose setup, like, you know what? They were able to hold on to it here.
They somehow did. Just goes to show how much, again, we've seen the driver parity over this season. It's the best we've ever seen here within the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. I mean, like, the driver parity, like, we know how talented this roster is that we have here in Season 5. And, like, in despite of saying that, too, we've seen all of these talents having trouble all night. Pretty much every driver's had a loose moment at some point.
Yeah, and I think, like, yeah, the parity has been amazing. Like, parity can exist at so many different levels, though. Like, as you mentioned, it is the sheer skill of the field that's leveled up here. It's one of those, tide lifts all ships kind of things.
Indeed.
I can't remember the full saying, but you get what I'm getting at.
Oh, no, I get it. I get you.
Rising tide lifts all boats. That's what I'm going for.
There you go. And so after all of that calamity, or whatever you want to call it, as, of course, the sun continues to dip below the horizon, and we transition to nighttime here at Iowa Speedway. Lap 51 of 175, the number 17 of Corbin McCauley leading the way by almost a second over Jordan Collini. And these two, we've seen them. Couple familiar faces in the front two spots. We've seen them up here many times over the course of the season.
Yeah, I don't think we're necessarily surprised to see these two at the head of the field. Again, just 4 wins between them. Obviously a good indicator of that is I think Collinian might have been going for a little bit of a wall ride there, no?
Wasn't able to exactly see for sure there as Kyle Nolan, Mike Marini battle it out here for 9th. The 15 clears the way.
Yeah, and Marini was kind of a benefactor of Noel and Binns getting tangled up at the line right before the end of stage 1, or right at the end of stage 1, as we see a decent battle here between Ford and Sears for 4th.
The inaugural winner of the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 versus the reigning IndyCar Series champion. Very close action there between the Piping Kettle Soup Co. Chevrolet and the 499 Racing Chevrolet. Sears, of course, had won the pole. It was his second pole of the season. And then meanwhile, Ford, on the other hand, hasn't gotten a single stage win, race win, or pole just yet, but a couple top 5s and top 10s. He certainly progressed his way here in Season 5, especially with the transition to iRacing back last season. Those that were here since the days of NASCAR Heat 5, the console days, we all saw the talents of Darcy Ford as, oh man, wiggle after wiggle there, coming off a 4. But I think, you can attest to it too, since you watched Ford all those years back in Heat 5, and then we saw him transition with a couple of struggles there to iRacing last year. But then this year, on the other hand, the second best of the rest behind CD Magram in terms of drivers that have not yet won a race this season. That's another guy who we could argue is long overdue for another win here in the series.
Oh, absolutely you could. I think, the performance through the first 60% of the regular season now, like, that suggests that Darcy Ford's comfortable, although as I say that, he decided to tap the wall on the straight. But overall, his biggest key has been consistency, and the fact that it seems like he's been able to find that. Yeah, you mentioned the wins and the stage victories haven't been there, but he's been there. That's been the most important part of this. He has been in the conversation. And again, the fact that it feels like he's starting to get comfortable again, as you said, I think he could be a guy that's, whether it's a little bit later in the regular season or whether he decides to steal one in the playoffs, Darcy Ford's not a guy you can count out.
Sears might have had a moment. Sears might have had a moment there off of 4. As the 64 back on the high side looks to take advantage of that 4th spot. But then Ty Higginbotham starting to catch his way up to these two guys and trying to make it a 3-car battle. Within the bottom of the top 5, the 64 is going to clear the way.
Yeah, not without another little bit of a wall bang out of 2, though, from Ford. But hey, it seems like it's working out for him here, so why not keep going with something that seems to be working?
So obviously Will Kern out of this race. Justin Belmonte is still in his box, 37 laps down now. That's not going to be good for him within the playoff picture as, again, going back to the standings, he currently sits 9th in terms of the best of the rest, or 3rd best of the rest, however you want to put it. Currently 46 points above the cut line, or actually, technically that'd be a different story now because I know you have that spreadsheet of everything mixed together. So as a matter of fact, Belmonte looks like he would be, or unless you haven't changed it.
Oh, yeah, it's all up to date.
Okay, so it still is 46 then, gotcha.
Yeah, so like the guys who were in those spots, they didn't really factor into the points discussions. So yeah, like 9 through, 15, Bins grabbed a couple in 16th. Most of kind of the middle of the field stayed as it was.
So yeah, it's still a 5-point deficit between Sears and Knoll for that 12th and final playoff spot. Sears currently 6. Actually, yeah, as a matter of fact, there they are, 6th and 7th.
And again, you go back to Sears having that speed scrubbed at the end of stage 1. Again, that's a 9-point loss right there. And this is the kind of time of year where, mistakes start to get magnified a little bit. And yeah, you're pushing hard for everything, but you also kind of have to know what's going on. Meanwhile, what's going on is Jordan Kalinian's leading.
Oh, how about this? A battle for the lead brewing here into turn 1. Macaulay has caught up to the 0.
Wasn't it
on
the
lap
other way
66. Or maybe it was the other way around. Yeah, I had a brain fart right there. Yeah, the 17 was actually leading. I had a brain fart right there. Sorry, Kalinian taking the race lead. Swap the names.
Yeah, swap the names, but the talent stays in those top 2 spots without question.
Oh, exactly. But it's the newcomer taking the race lead here. So 17 starting to fall off as CD Magram approaches from the 3rd spot.
And I know it's early to talk about this. We're not even at the halfway point. Is that Heaney maybe?
Yes, it is.
Had a bit of a moment, shall we say. But no, back to Jordan Kalinian. Yeah, he's got the 2 wins. They're both on the road courses. How much do you think he'd love to grab one of these short track wins to, cement that he's one of the more complete drivers that we've got in the series?
When Jason Butler's in his box without a front end too.
Man, oh man. The Corn Snatchers, they're in full force.
Ooh.
Oh.
So yeah, he was all alone going through turns 1 and 2. And then it just snaps around on him and just didn't really take any feet off the pedal.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, well, it's similar to what happened to Belmonte in stage 1, except Belmonte went up where Butler went down. And it looks like Jason Heaney may have had the same result. Yeah, just that low line just snuck up and got him. Not as heavy of contact, but same concept.
So let's go back right here. Before I had that little brain fart right there. Yeah, the 17 had a loose moment going through turns 1 and 2, and Kalinian took advantage. Dove it down to the inside. Eventually takes the race lead as CD Magram heads to pit road.
and notably was able to hold that lower line, which is, again, what seemed to have caught out Butler and Heaney earlier. And so, yeah, now is where you may really start to see some of the tire wear kick in, because if you recall, well, I guess they would have just changed at the stage caution, I would imagine. So, yeah, this might be, if they did, in fact, do that, might be touch early for the pit window, but splitting the stage in half, never a bad idea.
So CD Magnum took 4 tires. Darcy Ford and Kyle Knoll do the same on lap 74.
Yep, Ford's going to slip out of there ahead
Caution!
of Knoll. Oh!
Caution on the speedway.
All right, what's
Andy Hertel around.
Okay.
Ooh,
Yikes.
man. Just waiting for everybody to get past him, try to not collect anyone else while around. And there he goes. So the number 7 Darlington Ventures Chevrolet with trouble in turn 4. Yet again, turn 4.
Yeah, now you were starting to see the pit window open up. Now suddenly this is just playing perfectly into the hands of the field, really. Like,
Ooh.
oh. Yeah, bump with O'Toole sends him down. Back up.
Ooh.
Doesn't touch the wall in 4.
So yeah, Ryan O'Toole was up there, the lap car, and then Hertel just up the track. O'Toole held his line.
Oh, what's being downloaded?
In the middle of a race, my graphics card needs a download. Oh my lord.
Well, you never know when these things are going to pop up. Although, do not disturb buttons are your friend.
Yeah, maybe this whole time I never thought about that.
Maybe. Although it's about as predictable as a Tuesday iRacing update, isn't it? As we see everyone else coming into pit lane.
So yeah, there's McCauley taking 4 tires right there, and a bunch of other guys down on pit road. So yeah, we saw CD Magram, Kyle Knoll, and Darcy Ford come in right before the caution, and the 50 and the 64 were just coming off a pit road when the caution came out.
So yeah, if we look at our leaderboard, they're losing out the most here, it would appear.
There's going to be fresher tires for a lot of these guys here, although it looks like Bryce Fontaine went for just fuel.
Well, I mean, track positioning is only so good for so long, right? Like, ultimately, geez, I looked away for a second and I didn't realize you were fast forwarding. That's a bit of a trip, shall we say.
And I just wanted to get that over with, but yes, indeed, the number 22 took just fuel. So...
Yeah, so just absolutely rotten luck here for these first 3. Was Janikowski in pit lane at the same time? Wow, I'm surprised that I actually got who that was. Potato Vision, again.
It does say he pitted 3 laps ago, so indeed he did pit at some point under this caution flag, I would imagine.
Well, I guess the best way to tell would be how many laps since Knoll and Ford pitted, because they were right at the end of the lane as the caution flew.
Magram was 6, and then Knoll and Ford were coming off a pit road with 4 laps, and then Janikowski's 3.
Okay, okay. Yeah, lights are off.
So I believe, judging by the math, it's going to be a 25 lap to go restart here within stage 2 with Kalini and McCauley. What else is new on the front row? Bryce Fontaine in third, Ty Higginbotham's fourth, Charlie Sears riding at the top 5. Couple interesting names up there, and Hunter Young and even Mark Ouellette's up there in the 8th position.
Yeah, I'd be wondering maybe what he did in pit lane to get himself up there.
Well, it does look like he took 4 tires and fuel, so again,
Okay.
too, remember Magrum, Knoll, and Ford, that's 3 cars right there, so there'll be a bunch of drivers taking advantage over them since those guys pitted there right before them, and then the whole pack came in under the caution flag. But now it's a green flag waving, back underway here in stage 2. Kalinian gets the jump. They'll be side by side for third. There.
Not as pronounced of a jump as maybe we've seen from both of these guys, Kalini and McCauley, in the past whenever they've had control of the field. But, well, I guess the two of them have gotten away pretty good, but McCauley didn't let Kalinian get away, I guess is where I was trying to go with that.
It's about 3/10 or so separating the 0 and the 17. Bryce Fontaine maintaining 4th. Hunter Young and Charlie Sears going at it behind him for 5th. Sears all the way down on the inside, almost 3 wide. Hunter Young backs out.
Yeah, good responsible racing from that trio to not have anything happen. Wow, what a run from Sears out of that turn.
Lots of speed on that number 32 Chevrolet. Meanwhile, back here, Adam Wilson, again, all the way back towards the back of the field here in 14th. Trevor Binns getting past Bryce Fontaine. Mike Marini about to as well. So is CD Magrum. Again, it's just, the tires.
Well, yeah, it's like we said during the caution, like, track positioning is only so good for so long. Like, the reality is, like, the car is what it is at that particular point. And, yeah, you're seeing it bear out here in the first couple laps post-restart.
Approaching lap 85, battle for the lead once again between the 0 and the 17. Kalini on the high side, McCauley was on the inside, they clear on the front stretch. 17 still diving it in down low. Kalinian actually takes away the line right there through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, nothing wrong with any of that. Just good, hard racing from, the guys with the 2 top I ratings in the field.
Indeed so, and again, in a race like this, it's just a matter of, there could be the potential ticking time bomb if these two remain close and potentially get together. Again, just knowing how this race has gone, as it looks like Bryce Fontaine has trouble in turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be a big ask to try and do something without, the benefit of tires. And, I mean, do you really need another exhibit as to what's going on?
Nope.
No, I'd say that's pretty much case in point right there.
While McCauley leads by about almost half a second or so there of Kalinian, Charlie Sears charging after the defending winner of this race, Ty Higginbotham. Hunter Young still maintaining a solid run there in the 5th position.
Yeah, and just a little bit of an update from something we were talking about a little bit earlier. I do believe that's one Jared Ireland who's commented in the YouTube channel saying, looking forward to being back next week for Nashville.
Great to hear from the number 13. been off for a couple weeks now, taking I guess we can put it as well-deserved break for him. He's already got a win on the season, locked into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs, so... But still might as well come back, try to grab a couple extra playoff points, get some momentum going when we get there after Rockingham in July.
Yeah, at the time he termed it a sabbatical in relation to his vacation. So, yeah, we knew he was coming back, but yeah, obviously the landscape's changed a little bit, but the one win makes that a lot more comfortable.
Indeed it does. No. Man, oh man, Hunter Young, number 77 Ford right there, is only participating 7 of 9 races so far this season, 3 top 10s within 7 races. Has gone a bit under the radar with a couple of his performances. If I look back at how he's done so far this season, he started the season off strong with finishes of 8th and 6th at Daytona and Las Vegas. And then it kind of fell off from there as he started qualifying and finishing outside the top 10. Did finish 10th at Kansas. Of course, there was that one race suspension at one point for a post-race incident, but he's well back in it. He is 75 points below the cut line. But I mean, hey, anything's possible within the next couple of weeks, or month, we should say.
Well, I mean, let's recall that he emerged victorious at Talladega to get into the playoffs last year as there was contact with Noel there. So, again, he is a previous winner. There's no reason to think that he can't find a performance somewhere, whether it's tonight or in the next 5 weeks. Like, there's his potential there as we see O'Toole up high through 2.
Looks like Darcy Ford just got ahead of Jose Mercado for 9th. Hunter Young, as we were talking about him in 5th, has fallen back to 7th now as Magram and Knoll take advantage. And when McCauley gets back to the line here, it looks as though there's going to be 10 laps to go here in Stage 2. Again, Stage 1 was 35 laps. Stages 2 and 3 are both 70 laps long.
Yeah, and again, that caution couldn't have been timed more perfectly for the lion's share of the field as, again, we were just kind of getting started in what we were expecting the pit window to look like anyway. So, ultimately, it's just a few seconds here and there, quite honestly, as McCauley works to make his way around. Is that Fountain?
That would be Wilson.
Okay, maybe I was expecting Wilson to have another recovery drive, but that hasn't happened yet for the 21. But still a little ways to go. He is, of course, the first car on or 1 lap down.
Yeah, so 13 cars are now left on the lead lap, Fountain being the last one there. Just ahead of McCauley. Major heartbreak for the number 9 of Jason Heaney, who looks like he is out of this race, 30 laps down. Now, Justin Belmonte's still in his pit box, looking to hopefully get back out at some point while he continues to Guinness World Record?
He's still, well, within our series anyway, he's got another 25 minutes to go, I think, before getting to that point. But the point of points, why not get it fixed up? You were talking about wanting to kind of solidify his playoff position a little bit earlier. Again, if he's able to get out and get classified ahead of another driver or two, it just helps his standing as we're door to door here.
Oh, there's contact.
Oh!
Noel and Young get together, but they save it. There might have been a little bit of frustration there as those two kept getting together for about a lap or so, but the 77 stays ahead. Sorry?
I'd say we're looking at almost half a dozen laps those two have been together. It felt like it was destined to end up in something. Yeah, coming up.
Yeah, and then there was the contact there.
don't know. Like, I think as bad as that might have looked, I think it might have been just a loose moment. Like, I don't know if there was actually contact when they went sideways.
Anyways, now with 3 laps to go here in stage 2, the number 17 of Corbin McCauley well on his way to what would be his 6th stage win of the season. And man, oh man, close to the wall there.
Oh, he went into it. There was a big loose moment right before. And that's going to bring Jordan Kalinian right back into the mix.
Well, Ty Higginbotham's trying to get into the mix for 1 extra stage point. 9 instead of 8 possibly here for the 2nd position. 2 laps to go now. Charlie Sears, meanwhile, 3.5 seconds back of this battle for the 2nd position. 17 had that moment there in turns 1 and 2, but still well on his way to a stage win. This will be the white flag.
Yeah, able to recover it in, plenty of time before Kalinian and Higginbotham could fully make that move, but certainly the gap is smaller than it was.
Ryan O'Toole got in the wall there. He's going to have to get out of the way of these two. Man, oh man, Kalinian. Aggressive move right there to stay ahead of Higginbotham for the 2nd spot. And to the stage checkered flag, that's going to be the number 17 of Corbin McCauley taking stage 2. Kalinian 2nd, Higginbotham 3rd. Sears is going to take 4th. Magrum 5th. Hunter Young hangs on. Or to Kyle Knoll actually takes 6th. Hunter Young 7th. Darcy Ford 8th. Jose Mercado 9th. And Trevor Binns is going to take 10th. There's the caution. I did not see the 15 on the screen until he came up from the apron right there, so we're definitely going to have to look back and check out that finishing result, get a verification on who finished ahead of who.
Yeah, it got a little dicey there at the end, didn't it?
Oh yeah, that explains it. The 77 got loose. Oh, and then maybe almost a little block there. 15 barely takes it on the apron.
I was going to say, I don't even know if block is necessarily right. I think it's Knoll just having an abundance of speed compared to Young being loose ahead of him. Just comes off of 4, nearly winds up in the back of him, but is able to take nice avoiding action.
Well, for about a second or so, it did look like the 77 was going to come down and try and slow down the 15, but no, just got loose trying to hang on to the car, and then Knoll goes all the way down to avoid any potential contact.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it might have looked like it for a second, but he really only had half a second to do it. That's why, again, it wound up a little bit tighter than maybe either of them wanted or needed it to be.
So McCauley first car off. It looks like everybody went for a full fresh set of Goodyear tires, or chicken tires and chicken fuel, however we want to put it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going with you on that one.
Oh, look at that. Justin Belmonte's back out.
Hey, for another position or two, absolutely you come back out. We were just talking about this.
Yeah, 82.
You're here.
Yeah, 82 laps down. And then almost half of that Jason Heaney in 19th at 41 laps down now. So Belmonte will have enough time here if he does make it to the end to try and get ahead of the number 9. Jason Butler comes out of his box 16 laps down. Ryan O'Toole's at 7 in his box. Bryce Fontaine also at 7 in his box. I think he might have had an issue before the end of the stage there, because he was in his box before everybody came down. Yes, he's lost the front end, it pops back on as soon as I say that.
Yeah, sure, go for it.
Meanwhile, up front, after pretty much everybody's pitted, then there's Andy Hertel, who hasn't come down in, I believe it's going to be when they hit the line, 33 laps.
Yeah, he might have a bit of a rough start here, if we're going to be kind.
Although, am I fair to speculate he might have been a lap down and then getting back on the lead lap?
That might be a fair speculation. Because, yeah, if you look at the timing on the leaderboard, yeah, that's probably fair.
I heard some sort of confirmation, but I could not hear it properly.
And it did not come by text, so I did not hear it. And there go the lights. And there goes Hertel. So, yes, there's your 1 lap down confirmation.
So Hertel is going to catch back around to the field as the 17 and 0 are going to lead the way here to get the third and final stage underway at Iowa Speedway. There's Bryce Fontaine just coming off of pit road.
Yeah, just kind of sneaking his way out here. See where he feeds back in.
It's going to be Ty Higginbotham in third, C.D. Magrum fourth, pair of Tornado Alley E-Racing guys there. Charlie Sears fifth, Kyle Knoll sixth. Adam Wilson, the other Tornado Alley E-Racing driver, in 13th, so he'll look to make his way back up towards the front. And so, here we go, green flag, final stage at Iowa Speedway, underway.
And, yeah, sizable jump here from the 17. Kalini not as quick to react this time.
So far, so good. Now in turns 3 and 4. Couple cars sliding towards the back. Oh, Ty Higginbotham!
Whoa!
Saves it.
And Sears somehow missed.
And now Mercado's going to have trouble ahead of him. He's going to go around, and Higginbotham gets into him into the outside wall. Ouellette's going to get collected. So is Belmonte.
Man, I think Ouellette lost his front out of that.
Caution on lap 113.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a weird one. Yeah, we were talking about how just absolutely, utterly slippery this place has been. Yeah, I should take a look into something here. Okay, I'm not going to answer that question.
And so we'll get a replay here of all the carnage that just happened right there off of turn 2. You saw Ty Higginbotham have that moment somehow not getting into Sears on the front stretch. And then right here, Mercado gets loose. Hunter Young turns him around. Higginbotham into him. Hard into the outside wall goes the 41. Then the 80 just seemed like he had nowhere to go. 6 gets involved. A little love tap there to the 7. It's just a chain reaction from there.
Yeah, we went full on cornfield with that one. Ooh. Yeah, that's a not ideal to say the very least.
See, Ouellette had already gotten loose, tried to save it, but then nowhere to go with Justin Belmonte ahead of him.
Yep.
So under the yellow flag now on lap 116 of 175 with the number 17 leading the way. So far, he's now led 52 of the 115 laps. Again, looking for his first win of the season since that 2-race win streak he had back at Las Vegas and Phoenix earlier in the year. It's 6 races. 6-race winless streak, so could very well be broken here tonight, but there's still plenty of laps to go in this one.
There is, and the other interesting thing about this caution coming out so early in Stage 3, it's kind of a get-out-of-jail-free card for anyone who might have only taken fuel between Stages 2 and 3. Like, ultimately, you may have wanted the track position at the time. It might have been illogical to only do fuel at that point, but if anyone happened to try and go without tires, this is, again, a chance to get back level with everybody else. Matter of fact, get a couple laps up on them.
So yeah, a couple drivers here making some pit stops to either fix damage or get some fresh tires, get some fuel in the car. Andy Hertel looks like he's doing that. Ty Higginbotham did as well. Jose Mercado, I believe, just exited off a pit road. Mark Goulette's still in. Jason Butler's coming off now. Yeah, man, oh man, again, heartbreak for Belmonte, who we were talking about where trying to get back in this race and salvage a couple of points, and then what do you know, gets involved in that one.
Yeah, obviously not as heavy as what happened in Stage 1, but he's going to keep going just to... Realistically, it's only to get one more point once he's able to pass Heaney in the final classification. But... again, every point matters.
Potential trouble for the 0 of Jordan Kalanian?
Are we referring to, like, pit lane troubles, perhaps? Or...
No, he's completely wiped off the face of the earth.
Well, that would certainly open things up a little bit if that was the case.
Jordan Kalanian dropped out. Internet problems. Yikes.
Yeah, that is absolutely cruel luck for our Stage 1 winner tonight, but again, it's going to open up some opportunities for guys. Look out.
Yeah, Kyle Knowles moved his way up, so Sidney Mangrum to second, 15 and third, 32 and 64 going to battle it out for fourth. Ryan O'Toole in the outside wall behind them.
But yeah, look at, behind Corbin McCauley, 2 through 7, none of those guys have won this season. How hungry do you think these guys are going to be?
Half the playoff grid full. Someone could try to make it 7 filled spots and then 5 remaining. And again, after tonight, with only 5 races left to go until we begin the 5th annual RS Cup playoffs as the caution's out.
Yeah, that didn't last long.
Possibly for Jose Mercado.
Yeah, we were just
Oh, no, Jason Butler, up. Sorry. Jason Butler went around. Whoa.
Yeah, pretty much parked it mid-track. And again, it's those turn 4 gremlins getting them again.
Couple of drivers have dipped down to pit road. Sidney Mangrum, Kyle Knoll, Darcy Ford, Young, Binns, Higginbotham, Mercado. Or actually, Mercado's just exiting off now.
Now, this is interesting because, again, we were talking about the fuel window being 45 to 55. This would be the high end of that window if they were theoretically trying to fuel to the end. Is that Ford taking tires? It certainly appeared that way.
Noel. Yeah, I believe Megram and Noel took just fuel. Ford took a full fresh set.
So that makes things very interesting. You'd have to think, now that they're fueled to the end, not taking tires, you have to think they're banking on at least one more caution happening to bail them out later. Which, given the way this race has gone, probably a fair prediction, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
So as all of that's now going to shuffle the field here. From about second on back, the number 17 still leading the way up front. Charlie Sears is second. Andy Hertel's made his way back up to the third position after a spin that led to a caution earlier.
After how much he was not looking forward to tonight, this is actually hilarious to see.
Well, just imagine someone like him wins 2 weeks in a row. And again, I mentioned that trend of the past winners here at Iowa Speedway, at the virtual Iowa Speedway, going on to win the championship the same year. I'm just saying.
I mean, I love it. Honestly, like, again, it's been a night of the weird, wacky, wonderful at times. And we still have 50 laps of it to go. 51.
And for more fun facts, the top 12 of 21 cars, or I guess probably 18, 19, something like that, still remaining in this one. Only 12 cars are left on the lead lap. Mercado's a lap down. Kalinian's, it doesn't say out just yet. Don't know for sure if he'll be able to get back into this one. He did say his internet is gone, which is absolutely tragic. Marcolette's 8 laps down. Fontaine's at 9. Both still on track. So is Jason Butler at 20 laps down. Belmonte's still in his pit box, 92 laps down now.
Yeah, I guess the question would be, how long has Heaney been retired for?
57 laps.
Okay, so if he'd be 107 down if we keep that math going. So 68 laps completed. And yeah, Belmonte would have to get out there again at some point. If it gets to a point where it's untenable to do it mathematically, then I wouldn't be surprised if the night ends. But in the name of one more point, I'd say go for it if you're the 6. Not to mention it's nice to have as many drivers as possible in the field.
Absolutely, but the chaos here tonight, we're winding down towards potentially only half the field remaining, just how this has been trending, but it's going to be 50 laps to go here at the line. Corbin McCauley and the rest of the field taking the green flag. The Kyle's Fried Chicken Barbecue 175 continues onward.
Man, oh man, he really cranked up that restart, didn't he?
He absolutely did. As behind them, they're kind of scrambling all over the place down the back straightaway. They're all keeping it going. That's what matters, at least so far.
Yes, sir.
Adam Wilson diving it down below Mike Marini for the 5th spot. He's making his way back up. And again, after that incident that we saw there involving Ty Higginbotham, all 3 Tornado LE racing guys still in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, Higginbotham was obviously waved around as the lucky dog on that last caution, so he's able to...
Oh, man.
Oh, man, familiar friends, I guess, or... Well, probably not after tonight, Nolan Young.
3 wide down the backstretch, 12, 15, and 77 into 3. 77 clears the way ahead of the 15, although Noel's going to try and have that highline run. Is he going to cross him over? But no, he stays behind him. Now he'll dive to the inside. Andy Hertel starting to drop back as the 77 gets loose. Up the track. I believe Jose Mercado had some trouble there off of 2. He keeps it going. 3 wide with Janikowski and Bins. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, this is going to be, 45 laps of survival pretty much at this point.
Noel still charging his way ahead. Now pouncing on the number 7 as Hunter Young gets into the outside wall in the backstretch. Ty Higginbotham looking to get by him. Really rebounding well after that wreck we had.
Yeah, got away relatively lucky. Like, it could have been a lot worse given, he'd been involved in a couple back-to-back. But whether or not he's just able to race with whatever damage he's got, whatever he's doing, it's working.
Kyle Noel gets ahead of Andy Hertel for the 5th position. Macaulay's still maintaining the race lead, now by about a second or so ahead of Charlie Sears. And we all know how badly Charlie Sears would want to get his first career win in the NASCAR Series, especially, again, still being only a couple points ahead of the cut line. Actually, he increased by 2. Yeah, you're editing now. He's increased by 2 points ahead of Kyle Noel. And again, too, with Sears in 2nd, Noel in 5th, trying to charge his way up through the field. Man, oh man, that battle continues to brew. It may be brewing here as the race comes to an end. But as I said, the 32, man, oh man, if he were able to get that win, it's secured. But then that kind of gives a bit of a battle in behind him towards guys like Mike Marini and Jose Mercado. Marini in 10th, Mercado 2 laps down in 13th. And we've seen them have a couple moments, especially the 41 in particular. Things are heating up.
They are, and I think about Mercado and Marini and their kind of history within this series. If those two wind up with their backs against the wall looking to get into the playoffs at the end, man, oh man, Rockingham is going to be do not miss. Must-see TV. That's the better buzzword.
And unfortunately, it might end up turning into only a 2-car battle once again, because Jason Heaney at minus 22, and then it'll be again when we count the overall points after the checkered flag here tonight. Jason Heaney now at 68 laps down, going to be well more than that when this race comes to an end. Back in 19th out of 21 cars,
which would give him 18 points tonight.
Indeed so, and again, too, that momentum that he was building off of in the past couple weeks, especially with the 5th place finish and the stage win, and a stage win at Charlotte last week, and then here tonight, just absolutely no luck whatsoever, just flip-flopping every single week. He's going to need to start having a little bit better luck and building some momentum within the next 5 races. As there's Higginbotham and Ford going at it for the 7th spot. Again, the 2 past Iowa winners going at it.
Yeah, 2 past Iowa winners on the console going at it, and it's the 2 Iowa winners from, again, what we could now call the IndyCar Series, running 1-2 overall in this one.
Cheers to that, as Kyle Noel has jumped up to 4th. He's charging now at CD Mangrum, trying to get closer and closer to the number 32, who you can tell he sees him in his windshield. He wants to catch up to him before the checkered flag. Although unless we end up getting potentially another fuel window here before the end, though, maybe they'll cycle back out close enough. And if that is the case, then, oh man, we may be in for a battle for the ages between the 2 guys fighting for that final playoff spot. Imagine in some out-of-nowhere scenario, we get those two battling for the win.
That would be, I mean, fantastic television, first of all, or fantastic streaming. Yeah, it would be, I'd love to see those two go at it, quite honestly. Because, again, 12 and 13, especially if Noel wins from outside the playoff picture. Oh, boy. And, I mean, you were just on him. Don't even necessarily discount Hunter Young from that picture. If he wins from 18th in the playoff, or in the overall things right now, although I may have just jinxed the absolute shit out of him there.
Oh, how about this? Noel's gotten past Magram.
He is charging here, man.
And you know what? Why not? Because this charge is going on. We might as well thank TrackCams22.com for providing us with some incredible professional-looking cameras that really enhance and emphasize these broadcasts we have, these live productions we have for the Canadian Motorsports Network and the NASCAR Series powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. It's time for a good old final stage. Crank it up.
Yeah, just kind of had to wait for everyone to get into the rhythm.
So that was the TrackCams22.com rank it up right there. We appreciate them, of course, for tagging along with us, providing these incredible camera angles for every single race. As we were talking during that Crank It Up, of course, we saw Kyle Knoll making that charge all the way through the top 5, top 10 or so. 17 gets loose. That's going to help the 15. 17! He's going to go run to the inside wall. Caution!
Oh, okay. So that was another thing we were talking about. It felt like those guys who were, potentially going for the fuel gamble. It's an even ballpark, or even playing field here now. They get their tires. Everyone gets on level footing fuel-wise. Let's go.
But yeah, as I was saying, Kyle Knoll was charging his way up past many cars, especially too with the fresher tires. We saw him on the Crank It Up getting past Magram, and then charging up towards the 17. And then Macaulay with 21 laps to go crashes there in turn 2. Got loose there along the high line. Just a massive wheel lock right there. But now with 20 laps to go, this changes everything.
Yes, it does.
And most cars are coming to pit road, but it looks as though Darcy Ford, Ty Higginbotham, and maybe a couple others stay out.
Trying to think, was it this stage or stage 2 where it was Ford who got caught up at the end of pit lane when a caution came out? I think it might have been stage 2 now that I think about it.
Yeah, it was sometime during that. I mean, if we go off of laps since last pit, you see that right there. 35, 34, there's some 40s in there. Yeah. Ooh,
yeah, not for long they're not.
Kyle Knoll barely beat CD Magram off of the pit lane, as most of them went for 4 fresh tires, but I wonder if Sears might have made an interesting call here, because his stop was only 9 seconds.
Well, we'll find out, I guess.
Did he go for just the right sides?
Or was he already fueled to the end? Maybe both. Well, I
don't care about the fuel, and he only went for the right sides. Everybody else went for 4 tires.
That, yeah, as you said, that's going to be a very interesting strategy call here.
So with 18 laps to go, Darcy Ford and Ty Higginbotham, the past Iowa winners, they have been pitted in 36 and 35 laps, respectively, and then 3rd through 12th just pitted, with everybody except Sears taking 4 tires. So yeah, Higginbotham didn't pit because he doesn't even have any tires left.
Okay,
and Darcy, I don't think Darcy does either.
Yeah, that could be, well, I think we've seen that these two are pretty much going to be sitting ducks then.
But then Kyle Knoll 3rd, Charlie with the 4 tires, and then you see Charlie Sears 2 positions back of him. Those 2 guys, remember, you were talking about Knoll outside the playoff picture, Sears just a couple points ahead for that 12th and final spot. Man, oh man. I was saying, what if it's those 2 going for the win?
And I mean, it could be, but look who else is just magically snuck up after falling down the field a couple of occasions. Adam Wilson there in 6th.
Yes. And now, with all that being said, we didn't bother to check back on this little tragic moment.
Oh, yeah. But able to save it well enough to be 7th, I believe, out of...
Yes.
Well, technically 5th out of pit lane because Ford and Higginbotham didn't pit, but 7th on track. And we saw how he cut through the field from 15th in the opening stage, so wouldn't be surprised to see him go for it again, as I believe the lights just shut off.
So yeah, I get again. I don't know. I don't know the damage or anything, or how good that number 17 car still is, but you could make the argument that what happened there with him might have been the best case scenario, being all the way up on that high side. Because imagine if he was on the inside and then wheel locked up high. Man, oh man, that we wouldn't even be seeing him right there. He's still in the running.
We saw how hard Justin Belmonte hit.
Exactly.
On a similar kind of incident getting loose earlier. And okay, now I see where you got the info on Ty and Darcy and the tires.
Yes, so you were saying these guys might be sitting ducks, and pretty much everybody behind them, fresh set of tires in some capacity, although Sears only took 2. Green flag, 15 laps to go. Who's going to get it?
Well, I mean...
Oh, yeah, sitting ducks.
Yeah, you look at all the guys who are there. Is there anyone hungrier than CD Mangrum for a win? The answer to that's absolutely not.
They're going to be battling for the lead off of 4. The 15 and the 1 both looking for a win this season. Almost contact. Oh. Sears is going to dive in behind. Contact with Macaulay.
Oh. And another caution.
Spins. Contact. Oh, Ouellette gets into Sears hard. Heartbreak for the 32.
Man, that hurts without question.
My goodness. Trash heap.
Is it a byproduct of only taking the 2 tires? Like, that's
yes.
a question that has to be asked here.
But man, oh man. We again, we have Kyle, we have the 2 sitting ducks there, and then we got Kyle Knoll on the outside looking in, just 1 spot back. Sears was up there too, 1 spot ahead of him, holding that final playoff spot. And then CD Mangrum, the best of the rest, many points ahead of everybody, still without a win. Like, those 3 guys right there just hungry for one, and Sears, unfortunately, just on the bad end of what just happened right there. We're going to take a full look at the incident that just happened there on the start. I feel like we might as well just kind of look back at the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. Because, I mean, it felt like something was going to happen pretty much as soon as the flag dropped. Again, we had Ford and Higginbotham. Again, I kind of labeled them as sitting ducks because of the tires. Higgy gets out of the way pretty early, and Ford tries to run up higher to kind of preserve things for himself a little bit. But now, I think you see it in the background.
Yeah, you see how close those 2 got, and then Sears chops Wilson off and then dives to the inside, gets into the 17. Everybody goes to try and avoid. Hertel gets a piece of that one. Adam Wilson actually got a piece in there as well. Hard hit from Mark Ouellette. Janikowski also got collected. Okay, I think Hunter Young had contact there with the 21.
Yeah, kind of a chain reaction almost here.
Ooh. I mean, he fared out better than a couple other guys, that's for sure.
And I mean, at least Young straightened Wilson out at the very end with a little tap.
Yeah, look at that.
Completely sideways.
Gosh. Ooh.
Yeah, there was... Oh, man. And Ouellette already lost a front end, I believe, earlier, and then just drills the sideways Sears in that case.
So now, after all of that having happened, 11 laps to go in the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 powered by Chicken. CD Mangrum and Kyle Knoll leading the charge, and then there's the 17, who again we saw there on the caution before this last one, going around while being charged at by Knoll. Still in the 3rd position, but we'll see if he's still able to have some decent speed again, because he still did get into the outside wall in his incident. But Ford and Higginbotham still hanging on behind him. Mike Marini and Hunter Young behind as well. They're not totally out of this just yet. They're still well in the mix. Again, Marini currently being 17 points ahead of the cut line. Young, on the other hand, at 78 behind. It's not just the top two. There are a couple guys in here that are in a couple different situations, whether they're barely in the picture or just outside of it. But man, oh man, if they get the win, they can just throw the monkey off their shoulders, breathe a sigh of relief. They'd be just fine.
And turn the rest of the field upside down by doing it.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, this one's not done yet by any means.
Like Mangrum, 175 points ahead of the cut line. It's incredible how he hasn't won a race yet, but man, oh man, very well overdue for one, and he could very well get the job done here as he leads the way. Kyle Knoll being 7 points behind Sears for that final playoff spot. McCauley's already won 2 races this season, but we know, like, regardless of whether he has a lock spot in the playoffs or not, or whether he has a couple wins or not, you know he just wants to win every single night. That's the expectations he puts on himself. Ford and Higginbotham, you never know if the guys in front of him have trouble. Connor Young, I already mentioned him, back at 18th in points. And then Marini, 11th. Wilson does have a win this season, but again, he's been kind of all over the place here tonight, but he's charging his way back up to the front again. Andy Hertel looking to get 2 wins in a row. Like, there's so many... driver parity, there's all kinds of different situations and different outcomes, different circumstances and such, and man, oh man, we're going to see it play out here in this 8-lap shootout to decide the winner of this one.
Well, even look at Tommy Janikowski in 10th there as well, 15th.
Yes.
As it stands, 40 points out of the picture. Man, oh man, this is going to be a wild finish. I can just feel it.
Green flag is out. Mangrum gets the jump. McCauley to the inside of Noel. Wilson diving it in below Young towards the back.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's kind of gotten off good so far. Even Darcy Ford seems like he might have gotten the car back under him here a little bit.
Oh man, loose moments for both the 17 and the 15. Mangrum holding firm as they battle for the second spot. McCauley gets loose!
Whoa!
And he saves it.
But I think that just opened things all the way up.
They're racing hard back here, almost 3 wide for about 5th or 6th or so. Still 3 wide off the corner. Wilson, bit of a wiggle. McCauley drops back to 11th.
And speaking of Wilson, I agree with Hidden Munchies in the chat. You always have to watch him.
So McCauley's at least going to try to get a top 10 finish out of this, unless, again, we get another caution. These guys are still driving really hard. Look at Mike Marini looking to get a podium finish. Oh, well, Mercado!
Oh, man. Trying desperately to hang on here. 5 laps to go. And at this point, if anything was to happen, we're going into OT.
This thing is not over yet. 5 laps to go. Mangrum is coming to 4 laps remaining. Kyle Knoll trying to charge his way up towards the number 1. Not looking too good right now, but again, you never know. Mangrum might screw up at some point. Fingers crossed for him that he does in the number 1 Nordic Aluminum Tornado Alley E-Racing Toyota, looking to finally get that long-awaited win. It's been since last season, the Talladega playoff race, when he last won.
Yeah, so it seems like Mangrum has the edge through the turns, but on the straights, it seems like Knoll is that little bit faster. Because if you look at how the times are fluctuating, it's like half a second on the straights, but you see it close to 7/10 now.
17 splits the middle between the 7 and 97. It's as if nothing, quote-unquote, happened to him, as he's already trying to charge his way past a bunch of these guys here, past the 7s in Hertel and Young. McCauley up to 6. Hertel still trying to challenge him. But it's all CD Mangrum right now, just about over half a second or so, with 2 laps to go down the backstretch for the second to last time.
Yeah, and he was talking to me privately last week, wondering what he had to do to win, because again, he got caught out by that brilliant strategy from Hertel last week. This might be his time, as he's got the white flag.
Oh, Ford gets loose!
Yikes! Oh man, Fast and Furious level stuff here.
He saves it, but it's all CD Mangrum, the number 1 Tornado Alley E-Racing car. From Atlanta, Georgia, C.D. Mangrum to the checkered flag wins the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175, powered by Chicken at Iowa Speedway. And Corbin McCauley, after that loose moment there, saves the car. He comes home with a top 5 finish. Kyle Knowles second. Mike Marini gets a podium result. Adam Wilson fourth. Last week's winner, Andy Hertel, will take 6th, and there's Hunter Young in 7th. It looks like Tom Janikowski might have had an issue coming across the line, but he comes home with a top 10 finish regardless.
Absolutely he does. What a wild set of circumstances.
He and Darcy Ford, I believe, might have gotten together. The front end off the 64 completely torn off.
Yeah, I wonder if that was a byproduct of that slide. Maybe Darcy Ford didn't get away with that as unscathed as we thought.
Man, oh man, what a wild finish to this one here in round 10 of 22. Finally for C.D. Mangrum. It's been since, again, last year's Talladega playoff race. That was Mangrum's only win of the season, too, by the way, last year. So within the iRacing era, this is Mangrum's first non-Super Speedway win.
And, I mean, you have to think he's going to be happy to get that particular monkey off his back as well. Because you never want to be labeled as just like the single track specialist. If you're able to do it on multiple configurations, then you've arrived. You've proven yourself more than capable. And I mean, C.D. Mangrum, he's been doing it all year. I think the first words out of his mouth will be, "It's about damn time."
It absolutely is about damn time. And now all 3 Tornado Alley E-Racing drivers have won a race this season. Higginbotham with the 2 wins, Wilson with 1, Mangrum adding to that now. So that means through 10 rounds, half of them, or no, four of them have been won by Tornado Alley E-Racing. And the streak of top 10 finishes for all 3 drivers goes into the double digits.
Yes, it does. 1, 4, and 7.
Man, oh man.
Nice little chat from Haggy there. Oh man, O'Toole getting in on this as well, it would appear.
Yeah, why not? I mean, hey, O'Toole finishing 13th, that's pretty good for him.
There you go.
Absolutely.
String a couple of those together, recover the season a little bit.
Okay, so here's what may have potentially happened here. The 64 got loose. Oh, into the outside wall. Comes down the track. Nowhere to go for Janikowski.
Oh, man.
But again, because only 10 cars finished the race on the lead lap, they still managed to score top 10 finishes. And how about this? Janikowski's still... he's still going to finish. He still finished the race anyways.
Hey, that's the racer mentality. You finish... like, do whatever it takes to finish, essentially.
But yeah, as Mangrum... as we see, yeah, we fast forward to Mangrum celebrate once again. We might as well check into iRacing here and do the post-race winner interview with C.D. Mangrum as long as he is still in here, obviously. So we'll check on that. And Jordy, you might as well go ahead and send me the questions that you come up with. Hopefully you do come up with some that I don't ask.
Well, I'll try and come up with something as quickly as possible.
You go ahead and do that. So I'll try to get into the voice chat here and talk with the winner of tonight's race.
Yeah.
C.D. Mangrum, do you have a copy? You still in here?
Yes, sir.
Indeed, he is in here. The driver, the number 1 Nordic Aluminum Toyota here for Tornado Alley Racing from Atlanta, Georgia. CD Magram, the winner of the 3rd annual Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 Powered by Chicken here at Iowa Speedway. Magram, a long-awaited win for you. You have been the best of the rest for so long now this season. Somehow have not been able to get a win just yet, but tonight you finally are able to lock yourself into the Earl Ross Cup playoffs. Your first win since the Talladega playoff race last year. Now you can finally say that you've won a race within the iRacing era, not on a super speedway, man. How does it feel? Talk about what that race was like. Man, oh man, to take the monkey off your shoulders finally in the 10th round. It's been a long time coming, CD.
Yes, sir, Regan. I appreciate you, man. It's, hey, that race was, this is pretty unexpected. I didn't come into Iowa thinking that, it's not really a good track of mine, but I really just wanted to do a good job, stay on track, not spin out like I did at North Pro. So we just kept it on track and kept digging throughout the race. And, some things happened. A lot of guys were falling off at the end of runs. And it just worked out in my favor, and I couldn't be more grateful. Shout out, before I even forget, shout out to North Aluminum. Finally got one in this paint scheme here in the series. And shout out to A1 Grassroots, Single Pilot Experts, AJK Design, Tornado Alley, DCR. Get that all out real quick. So, I'm fired up, man.
You absolutely deserve to be, and we might as well talk about, as we were saying here while you were celebrating, Tornado Alley E-Racing. Now between the 3 of you guys, you have won 4 of the first 10 races here this season. It was all Higginbotham and Wilson for some time, and now you join them, and of course, all 3 of you continue. Now it's a 10-race streak of top 10 finishes for all 3 of you guys. Just talk about this whole Tornado Alley E-Racing effort this season. We've heard from Higginbotham and Wilson already, but now we get to hear from you, of course. Just talk about what it's been like driving for the team, what it's like driving with talents like Ty Higginbotham, the veteran, and then the guy that just came in here to the network this season, and Adam Wilson. Just tell us what it's been like with them and what it means to be driving for such an incredible team this season.
Yeah, man, it's a great time. I love racing with those guys. I had to come back to Tornado Alley this season. I was basically, GTR, Tornado Alley, kind of, got that connection going on. But I switched to the Toyota, man, from the Chevy. I just felt like it was only right to come back home to Tornado Alley with this team I was in this series. And we got Adam on the team. He's been racing with him for a long time in the console days. Finally got him. He was able to run with us in here. So, we're having a good time. Seeing them win's been good. And finally got my moment to get in victory lane. I felt like it was coming, any week. Felt like I've been in contention at pretty much most tracks at the end of the race for, one reason or another, just didn't get it done. But very grateful to get it done and grateful to race with those guys and all the other guys I raced with. It's been a good time, a good group.
Absolutely, man. And now this being the first time talking to you here in Season 5, it's been a long time since we've talked to you. Of course, just talk about what it's been like here now in this being the second season within the iRacing era for the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series. What's it been like now heading into the second season compared to whenever we transitioned to iRacing back last year? What have been some of the differences for you in particular, and just what are your opinions too on the driver parity that we've seen in this field thus far through 10 rounds? And again, for you personally, just talk about what the previous 9 rounds were like and just what it took to to keep up this momentum along the way, being the best of the rest of everybody, and to now finally get this win here tonight. Just talk about what it's all been like here in this season. Yeah,
the transition from year one of being on iRacing for me last year and then to this middle year is, year one was a lot of learning experiences, a lot of driving over my head at times and just trying to figure it out. I knew that was going to be the case last year and kind of figured out, enough to felt like I was, getting it, right towards the end of last season, and I just carried that momentum into this season. Been running a lot elsewhere, been running more officials, and just learning it every time I get out there, trying to get better. It's a good group we got this year. It's really competitive. I feel like everybody that was in the series last season has gotten better to this season. So everyone's only gotten better. So you just got to elevate yourself, and all the new guys coming in are real competitive as well. And so it's a good group, and always like having very competitive, clean guys as well, racing with each other. And it's been a blast. The first half of the season, like I said, I've been close quite a few times, but I really just been trying to be consistent and finish really almost top 5 each race. Just trying to be more consistent this season, because I know those points are going to add up, and I don't want to be in a hole come playoffs. So just being consistent and just working towards that win. I've worked towards it each race, and finally got over the hump today.
For sure. And I mean, kind of continuing that point of the driver parity, now, of course, 7 different winners through 10 rounds. That means now only 5 spots remaining here to decide the rest of the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoff field. And now we got a question here from my buddy Jordy Carraher, a question about the race. Of course, you were one of the guys who fueled up to the end during one of the earlier Stage 3 cautions without taking tires. He asks, were you banking on something else happening to get you back on level footing in that moment, or just what went into your decisions at that point?
First off, I wish Jordy was in here, but were you speaking on Stage 2 or Stage 3? I'm sorry.
Gotcha. Anything else you want to add on about this wild night here again with only like pretty much half the field finishing on the lead lap, being able to hang on over Kyle Knoll, and just anything else you want to add?
I didn't hear the end of Jordy's question. Which stage was he talking about? I didn't get to answer that one.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay, I'll just repeat the whole thing. One of the guys who fueled up to the end during one of the earlier Stage 3 cautions without taking tires, were you banking on something else happening to get you back on level footing in that moment, or what went into your decisions at that point?
Well, I know I came down to top off, and I didn't use my last set of tires then, and I knew other guys were on so many different strategies, and some guys could have got the field game going on, but we got another caution, and really just wanted to stay out. I knew some guys took tires. I really just wanted to take care of them. I knew they had to get some guys, and I felt like I had a good pace on the back end of the run, so just trying to be patient. Then, once we got that last caution, come down, take a set of tires, it was game on, just trying to get to the front, put the top through. Good racing by Noel up there as well. I think I got in front of him by maybe an inch before that last restart. So grateful for that. And, it's going to be a good time. We're going to celebrate. We're going to get some things going here. Again, shout out to all the sponsors, North Aluminum, and the team, Tornado Alley, all the guys. Shout out to the admins, you and the broadcast, everybody that puts together this league. It's a good time, and I couldn't be more grateful to be here.
You beat me to it. I was going to ask, who would you like to thank for being able to help you come on out here every single Tuesday night, but you answered me right there, so appreciate that very much. But now looking forward to the rest of the schedule. Now with looking at the schedule here, we now got 5 rounds remaining in the regular season. With this win, of course, you're locked into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs, but we've asked the drivers, each driver that gets their first win here, are you going to still keep going, try to gain some of those extra playoff points, some of those extra stage points and such, and to try to build some momentum, have some points advantage going into the playoffs? Like, how are you going to play out the next couple of weeks knowing like tracks like Nashville Super Speedway, Monza's coming up, Pocono, Indianapolis, Rockingham to conclude it all? Like, what's going to be your mindset going into these next 5 races, and how do you look forward to your run towards the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a few of those tracks. I know Monza's going to be a good time. That's going to be a big event, I feel like. And Pocono is going to be, the 100th race in the series, I think that is. So, honestly, I'm just going to keep doing what I've been doing, try to be consistent, keep building, stage to stage, race to race. And the results have been good all season. I mean, been really good all season, got the win now. So really just keep doing what I'm doing. And, I'll turn it up when needed, So we're just going to keep on going.
For sure. We certainly expect you to do that. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the driver of the number 1 Tornado Alley E-Racing Toyota from Atlanta, Georgia, sponsoring Nordic Aluminum and others. It's CD Magram, the winner of the 3rd annual Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175, powered by Chicken here at Iowa Speedway. Actually, one more thing too, CD. I had mentioned the trend of the past 2 winners here at Iowa Speedway, like Darcy Ford in 21, Ty Higginbotham in 2022. Both drivers went on to win the championship those years. Whenever I say that now, knowing that you just won here tonight, is it maybe, do you keep that streak up? Are you going to become a champion now?
I mean, hey, we all come out here to compete for that. So if it shall be, it will be. And I also want to say, I'm glad you asked another question. I want to get a bucket of chicken in Kyle's Chicken. I need a bucket sent to me. I need that bucket. I need that chicken, man. I need that trophy chicken.
You go right on ahead and do that, man. CD Magram, everybody, congratulations. Go celebrate this win. And we'll see you next week on May 28th at Nashville Super Speedway. Hopefully you'll be able to keep this momentum going, get a couple more wins, and have some good momentum going into the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup playoffs. CD, once again, congratulations, and see you next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And so that was the post-race winner interview there with the number 1 of CD Magram. And now we will go through all the unofficial results here at Iowa Speedway. Hopefully none of them are messed up whatsoever. But, of course, winning the race, the number 1 of CD Magram getting the job done here. First win since last season at Talladega Super Speedway. Kyle Knoll, man, oh man, we saw him charging up to the front. A little bit of heartbreak. We see there a little bit in the chats behind the scenes, but a hell of a finish for the number 15 sophomore driver for Storm Surge Esports. Mike Marini in the number 12 still holding firm in the playoff picture with a 3rd place finish. A hell of a run for him, a late run for him as well. Adam Wilson, the number 21, a bit of a roller coaster of a night, but comes home with a top 5 finish. So does the number 17 of Corbin McCauley, who qualified 15th after a rough qualifying session, and then goes on to charge his way up to the front. And then near catastrophe happens there at the end, but he makes his way back up like nothing happened. And then again, there was that incident there with Charlie Sears, but he finishes 5th regardless. Andy Hertel, last week's winner at Charlotte Motor Speedway, finishes 6th. Ty Higginbotham 7th. Jose Mercado 8th. Tom Janikowski finishing in 9th, goes across the line without a front bumper. We saw that the replay of the crash there with Darcy Ford on the backstretch. We saw a couple guys there behind the scenes shouting him out for being able to cross the line like that. I mean, anything,
deserved.
Yeah, exactly. And
Tommy's joking about a short track aero package, but I mean, he got there on merit, man. Like, 9th place is 9th place.
And as a matter of fact, too, finally, that one top 10 finish he had been seeking this whole time after so many top 15 finishes. He finished 11th last week at Charlotte, and then here tonight, he was just begging, dying for that he was just hungry for that top 10, that first top 10 finish he had been so long awaiting for. I mean, I guess there's no more fitting or better way of getting the job done.
Yeah, just, keeping it semi together at the very end, together enough to get him across the finish line. That is all that matters.
Exactly. And the number 64, Darcy Ford, I believe, was not able to cross the line, but because he was the last car on the lead lap, he still was able to get a top 10 finish. And now for the rest of the way, Trevor Binns and Hunter Young finished the race 1 lap down, 11th and 12th. We saw Hunter Young charge his way up, have some pace up there inside the top 5, just outside there. within the top 10 as well, but unfortunately things just played it against him at the end. Ryan O'Toole finally with a solid finish after weeks on end of just pure bad luck, a lot of DNFs especially. He finally is able to come home here with a top 15 finish in 13th. Bryce Fontaine 14th. Absolute heartbreak, tragedy for the number 32 of Charlie Sears, who was well on his way to potentially scoring that first career NASCAR Series win, and again holding that 12th and final playoff spot. Man, oh man, is he ever going to be on the brink now with Kyle Knoll having finished in second place. Mark Goulet 16th, Jason Butler 17th, Jordan Kalinian, man oh man, the qualifying fourth, and winds up finishing in a tragic 18th, having internet issues. Jason Heaney's momentum from Charlotte gets dissolved tonight with a 19th place finish, 108 laps down. And rounding out the field, Justin Belmonte in 20th. We saw him come back out and try to at least pick up some points, but then he gets caught up in that wreck there late in the race. William Kern rounds out the field in 21st. Just blames it there on not enough practice time, just really loose. Very unfortunate to see after the potential we saw out of him at Charlotte in the Piping Kettle 300, again, leading 7 laps, running inside the top 5, inside the top 10 consistently, at least until the end when he wound up finishing in 17th. So those are the unofficial results for the 3rd annual Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 here at Powered by Chicken here at Iowa Speedway. There we go. That's much better. Jordy, these guys, again, anticipating this one to be a very loose one with the setup, and especially on the fresher tires there as well. And we got that.
It's like they know what they're talking about, right?
They're the ones driving it out there, so.
Absolutely they are, yes. No, that is 1,000% correct. And these guys had to drive the absolute hell out of these cars to get at the 175 laps anyway. I think we said 155 miles technically, but 175 laps. They had to get that in regardless. And yeah, you were talking about it during the unofficial results. We've got some changes in the standings. That's for sure.
Oh, we absolutely are going to, and we'll get into more of that. You'll see it on our social media pages with the official race results, point standings, and all that, blah, blah, blah. But now moving on here to the rest of the schedule. 5 races now remain here in the regular season of Season 5 for the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Next week, we head to the Nashville Superspeedway for the first time in series history for the GSGSG Vinyl 3D 200 on Tuesday, May 28th, to conclude the month of May. And then you see the month of June. I think it's self-explanatory of what the hell we may get.
Well, again, you look at the 5 tracks remaining in the regular season. 3 we've never done in NASCAR. 1 we haven't done since season 1. And then Indy, I mean, it always has its fair share of surprises as well. So, you know, unless you have a win, absolutely nothing's settled yet. Like, there's still a lot to happen over the next month or so as we lock in our 12.
Indeed. Heading into tonight, we had half the grid locked up. Now we have 1 spot over half now locked in. So that means Corbin McCauley, Jordan Kalinian, Ty Higginbotham, Adam Wilson, Andy Hertel, Jared Ireland are now joined by C.D. Magram, who, again, whenever we release the driver standings later this week, that means whenever we go in the order of the graphic, that's going to mean that Magram's going to jump all the way up. Or, well, actually, no, he'd jump up to 4th because technically he still only has 1 win this season. But if we didn't go off of the wins, then he'd charge his way up to 2nd anyways, because it's been him and McCauley going at it here for the regular season championship. I imagine McCauley, I mean, judging by the points here, might perhaps lose a couple of points on Magram, maybe just a little bit. We'll have to wait and see with all the stage points and everything and all that. But you'll see that all across our social media pages here within the next couple of days. So that was the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue 175 powered by Chicken at Iowa Speedway. CD Magram, the number 1 Tornado Alley E-Racing Toyota, gets the win. His first win of the season, first win since Season 4 in the playoffs at Talladega Superspeedway. Finally, he can now say he's won a race within the iRacing era, not on a super speedway. So that does it for tonight's live production at the virtual Iowa Speedway. On behalf of the Canadian Motorsports Network, Jordy Kerher on the other side from Alberta, Canada, had been here since the very beginning. The competition committee, all other staff, sponsors and partners, drivers involved within the network. My name is Regan McCauley from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. We'd all like to thank each and every one of you for tuning in to tonight's action at Iowa Speedway for round 10 of 22 in season 5 of the Canadian eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series. So next week, we'll see you all on Tuesday, May 28th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Atlantic here on the YouTube channel for the GSGSG Vinyl 3D 200 at Nashville Superspeedway, our first ever race in series history at that track. So, cheers to everybody for watching here tonight. We hope you enjoyed tonight's race here at Iowa Speedway. Take care. Have a good one. We'll see you all next week on Tuesday, May 28th.